Cam, what is this place?
Costco is known for its tasty baked goods, but not everything that comes out of their oven is equally loved. Here are the 10 worst Costco bakery items. Braided apple strudel.
Strudel, you dumb cop!
First off, while delicious, strudel isn't exactly the most popular dessert in this part of the world. The flaky pastry is a beloved European delight, but hasn't quite caught on like traditional North American staples such as apple pie, chocolate cake, and the chocolate chip cookie. However, strudel has still made a mark in American bakeries and supermarkets, and Costco, of course, offers their own version of the strudel in abundance. Now, just because you get a lot of something, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always a good thing. In the case of Costco's braided apple strudel, the fewer the better. While the braided apple strudel looks appetizing and comes in the normal overly large size that Costco members have come to know and love, the apple filling is a big disappointment. The slimy texture of the apple cinnamon filling makes the strudel about as mouth-watering as a mud pie. And the fact that the strudel is only available in one flavor is less than thrilling. Unfortunately, the problems don't end there, as the strudel is not baked in-house, which is a trait that most Costco members have come to expect. In the end, this strudel deserves better. Fudge Brownies.
You know what's got 2 thumbs and really likes brownies? This guy!
Brownies are one of those goodies that always seem to put a smile on everybody's face. These chewy chocolate bundles of joy are about as perfect as they come. Now, there's no shortage of brownie varieties out there, with just about every grocery store offering some version of the fudgy classic. Costco also carries its own twist on the brownie with their decadent fudge brownie. This rich, dense brownie is more of a cake than a brownie, complete with fudge topping and chocolate drizzle.
I ain't doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong.
As great as all that sounds, the problem lies in just how dense the brownie is. Plenty of people who've sampled the Costco decadent brownie have made it known that it's a little too dense. In fact, some have even compared eating the fudge brownie to eating unbaked batter, and the texture was simply too off-putting to continue. So if you're in the mood for something chocolatey, maybe head over to the muffin section and grab a package of their double chocolate wonders instead. Plain bagel.
So much for what?
The bagels.
A New York staple, a Montreal delight, and a deli classic, whatever part of the world you happen to find yourself in, the bagel is a baked treat as good as any. With various styles, flavors, and varieties to choose from, bagels have become a regular menu item in most restaurants, cafes, and bistros. Not to be left out, grocery stores have also been offering up bagels to varying degrees of quality to customers for some time now. So it comes as no surprise that Costco offers their own dense and chewy bagels. Unfortunately, Costco's plain bagels are less than stellar. Though available in bulk, the wholesalers' bagels will never be confused with top-tier bagels, tending to be a bit on the dry side and just not that exciting. A generous amount of cream cheese or butter will definitely be needed if you do take these bagels home. However, they are perfect for the pop-and-go breakfast of the modern-day commuter. First time here? Well, become an official BabbleTopper by taking a quick second to hit that subscribe button. Now, more bakery blunders. Caramel Tres Leches bar.
Yeah, lady, give us candy!
The general consensus when it comes to desserts, particularly cakes, is that moistness is always a good thing. After all, there's nothing worse than a chocolate cake fresh out of the oven that is drier than the Sahara Desert. In fact, many desserts and sweet treats tend to incorporate various melted chocolates, creams, and such to give the all-important moistness to complete the culinary experience. Well, dryness is not an issue with Costco's Caramel Tres Leches bar cake. This boutique-style dessert is one of the few offered by the wholesaler and definitely looks like something you'd find at a high-end bistro or cafe. Its intense moistness is proudly displayed in the name Tres Leches, which translates to 3 milks, with the treat having 3 different kinds of milk poured onto the cake, making it moist and delectable.
You find it as life-changing as I did.
The problem, according to most fans of Costco's baked goods, The caramel tres leches is not nearly as delicious as one you'd purchase from a bakery or fancy bistro. Many who have sampled Costco's version of the tres leches have compared it to a coffee cake or even pancakes, which is not something you'd expect from a cake that has been saturated in milk. If that wasn't bad enough, the cake isn't baked in-house. The boutique-style dessert comes in frozen and is later thawed before making its way to the bakery section. The caramel tres leches bar is more of a day treat than a moist delight. Danishes.
But not Danish. That is a garbage language for garbage people.
Sweet, fruity, buttery, and flaky. What's not to like? When it comes to pastries, there are few that are as delicious as the Danish. Those discs of sticky, flaky goodness that were gifted to us by the, well, Danish, come in both the fruity and cream cheese varieties. The Northern European dessert is often enjoyed with a morning coffee, replacing the tried and tested classic coffee and donut. But sinking your teeth into its moist crust for dessert is more than welcome. Most grocery stores carry a version of the dessert, but unfortunately, when it comes to the Danish, Costco is not exactly the best place to visit. One of the issues is flavor, particularly the lemon cream cheese flavor, which is rather soggy and underwhelming. The other reason most seem to leave on the shelves is that unlike most of Costco's baked goods, their Danishes are not baked in-house, but are brought into the wholesaler frozen. The Danish situation isn't all bad, however, as Costco does offer a mix-and-match variety package, and the Danishes are rather large, which is to be expected. Unfortunately, the aforementioned issues have made the Danish an item that most have no problem passing on as they go up and down the baked goods section of the wholesaler. Baguette.
Phallocratic nature of bread is something we shouldn't really be talking about.
Bread. Where would the world be without it? It's hard to imagine sitting down at a restaurant and not being able to sink your teeth into a freshly baked slice of complimentary bread, or taking a seat at your very own breakfast table before buttering a crispy slice of toast. Whatever the case, bread is a large part of our eating experience. Of course, not all bread is created equal. Your average loaf of Wonder Bread, for example, will never be confused with a freshly baked, crusty French baguette.
Well, I hate to break it to you, kid.
And if we're talking about baguettes, not all of those long, crusty loaves of French bread are created equal by any means. Yes, we're looking at you, Costco. The wholesaler's version of the French baguette is not terrible. In fact, it's just fine for sopping up marinara sauce or dipping in soup. But if you happen to be a bread lover, you'll likely want to pass on the Costco baguette. On a positive note, if you happen to be a calorie counter, Costco's baguette is fat-free and nearly sugar-free. This is one of the reasons why their version of the French bread isn't quite up to snuff with bakery baguettes. While the chewy, crusty trademarks are all there, the local bakery is ready and waiting with a much finer baguette. Cherry pie.
Got a nice big piece of cherry pie.
Probably the second most iconic pie in the country, cherry pie has been immortalized in a song and can be found in many grocery stores' baked goods aisle or bakery. With that said, it's no surprise that Costco would take a swing at it and offer up their own version of the pie to loyal customers. Let's start with the good. Costco's cherry pie is rather low in fat, which is surprising considering that their other baked goods are usually much higher in fat. The problem with the pie is that despite this fact, the cherry pie is still higher in overall calories. This is due to the higher amount of sugar. Now, we all know that desserts are sugary. However, when the sugar content is much higher than other, let's say, more desirable Costco desserts, most will likely choose the latter. Apple pie.
Like warm apple pie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When thinking of the most traditional American dessert there is, most of us will instantly think of a hot apple pie fresh out of the oven. Perhaps an image of one cooling on a windowsill comes to mind. The quintessential all-American classic immortalized in paintings, movies, songs, and just about every aspect of pop culture, the apple pie is a dessert that transcends the dinner table. Whether you're eating a slice on its own, drowning the pie in a mountain of whipped cream, or perhaps adding a scoop of vanilla ice cream on the side, apple pie is rarely a letdown. Obviously, you'll never have a problem getting your hands on one of these American icons, as apple pie is available just about anywhere you can think of. So So, of course, Costco has its own version of the all-American dessert.
I have an excuse. A good one.
Unfortunately, the wholesaler's version is one that just doesn't do the classic dessert justice. The Costco apple pie, while enormous, is nothing more than an apple jelly-filled, oversized baked tart. In other words, it's meh. This isn't only a problem that Costco has with its apple pies. Most grocery stores' apple pies are pretty much the same when it comes to taste and texture. If you want a good apple pie, either go to a proper bakery or call your granny and ask her to dust off that rolling pin. Mantecada Muffin.
It's where the muffin breaks free of the pan and sort of does its own thing.
Mexican cuisine is mostly known for its savory dishes. However, the country is also equally skilled at serving up mouth-watering desserts and sweet treats. Aside from the famous churro and fried ice cream, desserts south of the border can range from the thick, milky dulce de leche to the dense and buttery mantecada muffin. Costco is no stranger to muffins, and the wholesaler has made sure to provide customers with as many varieties as possible, including their own version of the mantecada muffin. These Mexican classics are tasty enough and are fairly popular. So what's the problem? Well, the concern lies in the amount of calories these buttery muffins pack. While most of us are well aware of the high calories of some of our favorite treats, Costco's mantecada muffins pack a little more than usual. In fact, just 2 of these little darlings make up almost all of your daily caloric needs. That might be almost acceptable if the muffins were topped with frosting, cream, chocolate, or some other sugary drizzle, but these muffins come to the party with none of that. While the flavor of the muffins themselves is just fine, most people who enjoy sweet treats, particularly the smaller variety, would rather not have to stop it too. Corn muffin.
I can hardly eat muffins in an agitated manner, can I?
Cornbread is one of those beloved comfort food classics most associated with the South. Along with other Southern staples like fried chicken, mac and cheese, and fried green tomatoes, cornbread has been a staple side dish in Southern cuisine for generations. But there's much more to cornbread than simple loaves, as the baked good has also become a popular brand of muffin.
It's crazy.
As usual, leave it to Costco to offer as many options of baked goods as possible to its loyal customers. And Costco's version of the corn muffin isn't bad by any means. In fact, they fare well with customers. The corn muffins just happen to have a lot of stiff competition when you pair them against popular Costco baked goods like the mini raspberry cakes, croissants, and various cookies they have to offer. And when it comes to muffins, there are much better options to choose from at Costco. If it came down to a cornbread or chocolate chip muffin, which would you choose? To choose another great video, just tap or click. And hey, leave us a comment, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell.